It's not good, is it? We don't like injuries. Injuries aren't fun. Hello, everybody. Hope we're well. Just going to pop that door shut because it's very, very cold in here. So, be one moment. Oh, dear. Now you see, I was quite a fan of the way that the team was looking at the minute. The team was looking very, very fun. And it looks like my headphone wire is now stuck in my chair, which is always fun. However, things are turning around a little bit. Things are looking a little bit sticky. Yeah, right. How's it going? And I got a little bit of news. Ethan Ampadu's injured. I know, it's really not fun. But I think this is going to cause some real big problems, and I'm going to chat through that a little bit in this stream because I think it's going to be a nice little chill stream in which we can discuss all of our shared trauma, including the fact that Ethan Ampadu isn't around anymore, which, as we all know, is probably the most devastating thing that's going to happen to anybody, anytime, anywhere, ever. So yeah. What it looks like is happening with our good friend Ethan Ampadu at the minute is the guy has, as we all saw in the match, it was one of those injuries that is very visible from the moment it happens, went in for a very, very hard crunching tackle on the edge of the Coventry box with one of their players because we were playing a lot higher up, playing a lot more transitional stuff. That was a fun hiccup. The thing with a crunching tackle is that at the end of said tackle, someone gets crunched. In this case, it looks like it was Ethan Ampadu. And the outcome of that is that apparently he's going to be missing for around 10 weeks, at least 10 weeks, and that's before he's able to get into training. Once he is in training, then it'll take a little bit longer because he'll need to get used to things like running and kicking ball again because it will have been quite a while. I just want my Ampadu back now. Because it's looking like it will be early to mid-January until he's back. And to be fair, sure, we've got plenty of other players, but I'm also going to run through exactly why it feels like there could be some slight issues coming up in this game. Not in this game, this season, because of what happened. Infuriating. So I'm going to completely clear this lovely little tactics board thing that I've got going. I'm going to do the presentation. I'm going to share the screen. And I'm going to bish, I'm going to bash, and I am going to slide that over there. Actually, I'm not going to bosh just yet. And I am going to bosh. There we go. Nice little tactics board. So I'm going to make Leeds white. You've got Bogle there, you've got Firpo there, you've got your two centre backs. Well, no, you've got your number 4, which is that Ethan Ampadu's number? It feels like that's Ethan Ampadu's number. I'm going to call you Ampadu either way. 7, I'm going to put out here somewhere. 8, I'm going to put in here. 9 is, of course, the number 9. 10 goes behind the 9, and 11 out on this flank. So the slight issue that we've got right now is that we're missing what I think is the most important pivot in this side. So you've got situations in which we're attacking. Let's say you've got everybody is forward, absolutely everyone. You've got Aronson, who is happy to do the sort of interchangey stuff, moving around. Matteo Joseph, who was also happy to do the moving aroundy stuff. These guys are happy to just wander around the areas. The wing backs just always fly on all the time. And recently we've seen more of Gruev going up. Typically in this sort of area, but not all the way forwards. What this tends to mean is that behind you have centre-backs, Ampadu. What happens when there's not an Ampadu? Is where my concern comes in here, because when there's not an Ampadu, you need to bring someone else in, and you will go with probably... Hello, you okay? Shocker. And you will go with a number 22. We'll go with Tanaka here. To what degree is our Tanaka going to be quite as happy playing in that more passive role? Is Gruev going to enjoy playing that more passive role? Because I'm not entirely certain. I can't remember Gruev's number, but I'm just going to call you Gruev. And is it 44? I'll go with 44. But is Gruev going to want to do this? Because at the same time, we're trying to teach Gruev to be more of that number 8, which means that he's going to want to do more of the attacking-y stuff. And it's really bad to teach the attacking habits whilst... No, I'm not getting a pro account. whilst telling them be more defensive. And whilst we say that Gruev is a DM, yeah, but at the same time, we're training him to not be. Which means that you're going to get mixed messages. And whilst he is a DM, he's a different form of DM. So Gruev isn't the long ball kind of guy like Ampadu was. Gruev is the nice little short passing, brilliant, build a little bit of a triangle here, hopefully you pull a defender out, and then look, there's a ball to Nonto. That's the sort of DM that Gruev is. That's the sort of build-up play that he does. So my main concern with the way that we are currently playing is, does Gruev fit that as his former defensive midfieldy kind of role? I'm not as certain. There is this as an argument, thinking that Tanaka controlled the game as a DM for a second half. The slight concern that I've got with that is we're gonna turn into the stats bitch for a second. But this isn't the stats bitch, this is like a positive stats bitch. This is a I agree, but concern kind of situation. Why is SofaScore such a bad website? Leeds Coventry, cool. How do I find all of the information on this game? Cool. Right, so, very good point. Yep. To be fair, did do a little bit more of that. I'm going to have to on-full screen you, actually. Go to there. You go to there. You go to there. Bosh, and I'll share this tab instead. Sure, yeah. He did play that sort of more passive defendy role throughout that second half, and that was fine. But you look at the momentum in the second half, it's all Norwich. And whilst I think the majority of that was very deliberate, whilst I think a significant proportion of that was, okay, that's fine. You guys can do whatever you guys want to do, and we will just hit you on the counter, and that worked. That felt like it was a very Coventry designed tactic. That felt like it was very specific to say, right, okay, Coventry have struggled in this way this season. This is how we can exploit it. Go. We don't know if Norwich have the same issues as that. We don't know if Sunderland have the same issues of that. And coming back from the break, does Sheffield United have that issue? I don't know. I've not seen enough of Sheffield United this season, to be completely honest with you. But from the point that Ampadu comes off, which is, what, 41 minutes, about here, we lose control. And I do think we gave Coventry the ball, blocked the passes, kept our shape, all that sort of stuff. I'd still be a little bit concerned because the way that Ampadu is willing to just chuck himself into a challenge isn't something that I think we necessarily get out of Tanaka. And I think that's something that we might need as the season rolls on. I'm going to check out average positions, actually. I'm a little bit curious. So Ampadu's average position, relatively passive. Flies up the pitch a little bit, but not too much. Where's Tanaka on average? Tanaka 22? Yeah, that's fair. Plays a little bit deeper, but then again, we were all playing a little bit deeper. Put Jolly Crew in there. Both walls should be fine. I'd like that take if I believed it. I'd back it. We lost control because Crew stayed in the 8 instead of being the 6. Did he? Because this is fairly 6-ish. This isn't an 8-looking heat map. These bits are taking corners and receiving the ball from corners. That's not Gruev being like, cool, I'll be hyper-aggressive. That's Gruev being like, cool, I'm going to keep doing my job. And he did, to be fair to the guy. Let's have a look at ground jewels and see what we're sort of looking at comparing the two. So Tanaka had 4 ground jewels, won 3. Ampadu had 3, and apparently only won 1, but it felt like he was significantly better than that. How about passing stuff? God, we don't really have many long ball merchants, do we? Ampadu tried 2 long balls, 1 paid off. Ampadu tried 1, it paid off. Yeah, we see that. And that worked out. But that's where the concern is in one perspective. The other concern is what happens when one of these isn't here. Because you'd normally say, right, okay, cool. The way that you fix that is Max Verber comes into the side. brilliant. Vuba's had to go for surgery, which is going to keep him out for an extended period of time, which means that you've not got this anymore. And typically, when this, in the case of Rodon or Strauch, wasn't available, the answer was this. If we ain't got Ampadu, that's where the questions start to come in for me. Because then what do you do? Does it become a Byram situation? Do you think it will become a De Bayo situation? Do you think it turns into like a... Do we play 3 at the back and Firpo can slot in there because he's done that for the Dominican Republic a long time ago? That's my concern. My thinking is centre-back is not our deepest of positions at the minute. And the worry is what we accidentally end up with is if we do end up with problems, we can find ourselves in a situation where, I don't know what his number is, but we'll turn it into De Bayo or something. Where you have a James De Bayo and a Joe Rodon as your centre-back pairing with a Gruev and Tanaka that both like playing more aggressive. And that means that, looking at our numbers so far this season, we've conceded 4 in like 7 games, and 3 of them were in the opening match. That's insane in terms of numbers. That's incredible. But my concern is Ampadu is such a fundamental part of that defensive shape and structure that if he isn't available, we're going to have to do a little bit of working around and making sure that everyone's in the right place at the right time and there aren't any threats and we're feeling comfy and cozy and things don't fall apart as we expect. And on this one, Gruev can play at centre-back. Yeah, sure, brilliant. But you put Gruev in at the centre-back. I'll bring this back. Cool. Gruev at centre-back. Why not? Then you got to bring in another midfielder. And that would presumably be Rothwell, who isn't a 6. So if you put Gruev in at centre-back, again, you've not got a 6. And that just continues to add to the issues that you've got. And things don't end good following that line of thinking is the only thing that concerns me, to be completely honest. It feels like a sort of spot where if we end up moving the pegs around a little bit, eventually the system's going to fall apart. And what we are basically sitting on at the minute that is doing really well for us is having a good, effective system that gets the job done. Because all of the metrics and stuff, everything that pops out from that, all of the XG and chances created and all that, hello, Mr. Play, and all that kind of shebang is not purely out of like players. It's out of system-based stuff. And then you put in players that don't necessarily fit the system. Does the system work as effectively? If you have a gearbox on a car and suddenly you start swapping them out and you stop paying attention to how big each of them are, you're not going to drive as good, are you? I think you're going to be in a little bit of trouble. But I don't know. And that's what concerns me a little bit. The fact that this gives us a little bit of uncertainty. And then you combine that with the fact that we got a bunch of other injuries. So if you add Schmidt, who isn't available for the weekend because he's got a little bit of butt pain, I'm going to phrase it like that. I'm sorry, I have to. I can't not. Combined with the fact that Vuba is having his surgery, Dan James is still out with, was it a hamstring thing? I can't quite remember. No, it was Manus Solomon with a hamstring because it came from a back issue. Dan James might be a knee. Either way, lots of injuries, not great. But you look at our list of injured players, and you look at the fact that that list is starting central midfielder, Austrian international centre-back, someone who played in the Europa Conference League the day before we signed him and scored, Wales international winger who is arguably one of our best players, and Israel international winger who we've gotten from a Champions League club, and that was the only reason he isn't going to be able to get into his actual squad this season. That's a lot of good players out, and I think it's a testament to how good the squad building was over the summer that we're not panicking more than we are right now. Because we'd be well within our rights to go, oh no, everything's falling apart. We're deep in the shit. But thankfully, we're not doing that. Thankfully, we're in a nice position where we're like, okay, we've got a bit of depth. And only now, when we are 5 injuries deep, are we thinking, could be in a little bit of a crisis here. And I think the more... This is why we need to keep rotating the side, basically, is what I'm thinking. But then again, injuries mean that you can't rotate, because you can't exactly rotate out a Rodon or a Strauch right now because, well, Fuba's not there, Ampadu's not there. Do you want to risk losing points if you put on DeBio? Because if you put on DeBio and then you lose some points, then suddenly everyone says, why the fuck did you play a youth player? It's a spot where we can't necessarily win. So I'm quite happy that we've done what we've done in terms of getting depth, but I think there's still a little bit more stuff to do for Leeds at the minute. And if we don't do it, then things get a little bit concerning. But that was the general gist around the Ethan Ampadu injury stuff. Bit of a concern. If I remember right, I'm going to find out specifically what it was. I believe it was a lateral ligament in the knee. Oh, it's the LCL and the MCL that control the sideways movement of the knee. It's not the ACL. That's on the inside of the knee. But basically, this is where we're going to get to the stuff that should be saved for like the OnlyFans content. I know, it's great. Have a look at a knee. Bosh. These bits. Because looking at the challenge, it looked like planted his leg, player came through him, and it's just impacted here and forced it to sort of buckle a bit. That's why it's likely to be a ligament issue, rather than something more sort of tangible and physical, because it was an issue with the movement and it being jarred significantly and potentially torn. I don't know. We didn't really have too much detail on what had happened to said ligament. But it's not good. It's not requiring surgery, which means that it's not completely knacked, but it's still not ideal. Sorry, I left a like Evie's video. That's completely fine, to be honest with you. Thank you very much, Hobbs. I know. Ooh. Children, cover your eyes. How dare you? I didn't know you had such Victorian sensibilities. Honestly. It's a blooming knee for... well. Is it a bruised knee? Hold on. I'm trying to remember if it's still a bit bruisey from 7-a-side. No, but my calf is. That's good. And then I'm in net tonight. I don't want to go in net for 7-a-side. That's always danger. Yeah, anyway. What I'm going to do, though, I'm not going to do the longest of streams today. I might go a grand total of half an hour. But we'll have to find out. I'm going to drag us over to our favourite place. Super secret little corner spot. We're going to go to Questions Corner. It's a lovely place to go. So yeah. If anyone's got any questions about the Ampadu thing, about anything in general, about what's coming up on the channel, because I've got a few very fun, nice plans that are in the pipeline, just let me know. And we'll have a nice little bit of natter for the next 10-ish minutes. It's not going well, gang. As you can probably tell, I might have been recording a bunch of training videos for work again. A little bit more detail. Vuba's surgery is tomorrow. It's a meniscus repair. He's up for 6 months. Yeah, that could be a problem. Question: I'm starting my channel up again after new. Could help with things, Joe, if possible. I'm always happy to help with absolutely everything, to be completely honest with you. I'm happy to help with making graphic-y things. I'm happy to help with showing you in the right direction for edity things. I'm happy to help with all of the things. After New Year. Okay, I get you. I'm also happy to help with proofreading things, because fun fact, I used to be a writer/editor previously. So if anyone wants help beyond YouTube stuff, just ask. It'd be great. I've edited a book before. I don't think I've ever discussed that. That was good. Why are you so ominous? What's going on, you ominous motherfuckers? The best passer in midfield, Charlie Crew, very good preseason. I don't think the best passer in midfield is Charlie Crew. Surely the best midfielder in the best passer in midfield can't be Charlie Crew, because then he'd be in the team. You know, you got to consider that like Daniel Farke watches all of these players significantly more than we do. We get to see, in the case of Charlie Crew, some preseason games, and I guess the 21s if he's around for then, I suppose. But outside of that, not really. He's fearless. We don't know that. We've only seen him in preseason, you know? Do you think rolling out some more youth boys would do us more bad than good? Just not sure, because we never know how good or bad they'll do until they play. I think it'd be a good idea if we started rolling out said youth boys in, like, senior matches, but in the sort of 10-minute stints that Daniel Farke tends to do. Like when he was slowly trying to introduce Tanaka, and then Ampadu got broke. Bosh. Yeah. I think it'd help. But you've also got to rotate minutes with the senior players and everything around that. It's silly. But I think if there's any situation in which it could potentially lead to injury, don't take that risk. Well, not injury, sorry, dropping of points. Don't take that risk, because at that point, everyone is going to lose their heads, and it's going to be wild and unfriendly and scary. Secretly, I'm a good egg. I don't even try and make it secret. You could, but it's okay. No, but thank you. I appreciate that. And I know it must hurt you to say nice things. Like it won't hurt you to press like on the stream. Haha. Thank you. That was an attempt at subtlety. Didn't land, did it? Not even a little bit. Injuries mounting problem with a smallish squad. Yes, but at the same time, everyone complaining about the way that we weren't giving Tanaka minutes and the way that Schmidt wasn't getting minutes tells me that there's not really a huge amount that can be done about that. Because you start adding to the squad, it either becomes a case of you've just signed someone, because at some point you might need someone to play like 15 minutes because there's a risk of an injury. Then you just start wasting money, and people are like, excuse me, why are we just chucking money about? Because we have players we need in other positions. There's problems with big squads, problems with small squads. There's a balance. That's the only concern. You have to decide which problems you want to have to deal with, is my only line of thought on that one. I ain't gonna touch Welsh because I can't speak Welsh. I know that Welsh is a very complicated language, and I know that I'm not a very complicated brained person. Stream at 4:30. I shall be over there, and I don't know if I have your Twitch saved to my little notepaddy thing, but if you aren't already, I'd recommend going over and following Baby Zebra Games on Twitch. It's a good time. It's great. Good streams. Nice times. I want to have a breakdown. I had a nice cry a couple of nights ago. That was good. Mac and cheese are lush. Very happy. Very glad. Sad about Ethan, but glad for Ilya and Ow. I think that is somewhere that I'm sitting as well. Because having Gruev able to do the more defensive midfieldy stuff, we can see where his ceiling actually lies at the minute. Very nice to have. Combined with the fact that we know that Ampadu is scary at points and a little bit slowing down. I think the Gruev Tanaka pairing is going to be more vertical, more quick, which is going to be very interesting. That's fair. I imagine people will get back to you. It just takes a little bit of time. Like, there's a video that I'm planning on doing in 3 weeks that I still need a couple of bits from. And it just takes time, but that's fine. Already like some occasionally good like that. You're always excellent, and we all appreciate you. But thank you for liking the stream. Welsh is meant to be honest, probably more of a phonetic language than English. Once you learn the rules of pronunciation, it's dead easy. I might have to learn Welsh then. Andrea will love that because he always says we lack verticality. I think we were pretty good for verticality in the most recent match. I'll be completely honest with you. I think we were nice and quick because Coventry gave us a bit of space to play into. The reason we tend to lack verticality in our standard matches is that everyone's sat stupid deep, and you can't be vertical against a wall. Like, yeah, that's the way I'm going to do it. Other teams that would play free-flowing stuff like water, you can wade through water. You can wade up a river. It might be tough, but you can. You can't wade through solid concrete. And that's why I think having verticality against a low block is a big problem. Because you can't really, because... Hang on. Because to be vertical, you need movement that way. But you're against this. So what happens is you try and do vertical, and you just sort of... Oh no, I've bounced off. Hold on. I can't draw it backwards and in the camera. You've bounced off, so what we end up trying to do is just work our way around it a little bit. And that is physics with Joe. Afternoon, hope I haven't missed too much. Is it me or does Ramazani seem to be better than Georgie at this time? He's different. Different profile of play. Ramazani isn't your creative passing footballer. Ramazani is a very direct runner. So I think the comparison to play there is Ramazani to James. I'd say they're same-ish level, to be fair. Some weird ones like Harden, which is pronounced like Harden. Is it like at least an extended Harden? Is it like Harden or Harden? I don't know. Danny, I keep saying you can get rid of everything after the question mark. It makes it so much easier to read and deal with. It's great. It helps. It simplifies things. I promise. I promise it's worth doing. It saves you a lot of time and effort. Right now I'm hungry. I've not had lunch yet. Or breakfast. Welsh has got a no. No, you're thinking sheep. I know they're quite close to goat, but there is a slight difference. Anyway, what I'm going to do, I'm going to not stream for too much longer. I'm not going to take up that much more of you guys' time. However, I'm going to open Questions Corner once more. If anyone has any odd questions, anything bizarre they want to ask, even something sensible, I know, good job. Chuck them in the chat, and we can have a little bit of a natter on it. We'll say next 3 questions. They can be yes, no, they can be more detailed, whatever you can think of. Pop them in, shout them at me, and we'll see how it goes. I'm very, very curious how close you are to monetizing that channel, by the way, Evie. Because that's a lot of views and enough subscribers. So if we take a rough guess, call it about 6. Divide that by 10. Genuinely good progress. Why are you in goal? Is your keeper on a long weekend bender? No, my goalkeeper's in hospital. Not because of goalkeeping, but because of just general illness. So I'm filling in, popping on the old goalie gloves. Wow, I really need to look after these a little bit better. But yeah. So we scrape by to January with the current squad, but barely do we strengthen in January in the centre-back area. I think so, but I think it's hard to tell what we'll do in January anyway. Purely because it's a little bit early in the season to be making the guesses, you know? I think I would currently make that change, but if we're 100% sure that we're happy and comfy and fine by January, then I think we look somewhere else. Because if everyone is nice and fit and happy, wonderful, we're looking good. If people aren't, then that's a problem. Why is this the only Dutch that you know? Is it because Nuken in de Kuken is fun to say, or is it because there have been some horrifying things happening in front of children? Because one of them is a more legitimate answer than the other there. I'm sure you know that. Oh, sorry, I've just seen something. But we got time for one more quick little question. So pop anything in the chat that you fancy. And yeah, then I'm going to end the stream and I'm going to chuck you in the general direction of someone that you might not have specifically expected. I'm going to chuck you in Keiji's direction as a peace offering because apparently some of his viewers still think that I don't like him. He's fine. I just don't understand why delete people in chat. But as a peace offering, I'm going to be like, hello. Let's have a little bit of a redirect. So one more question, and then we will get on to ending the stream, and I will have a little bit of lunch. I'll call this a question. What did I miss? I was watching the Norris press conference. Ampadu injured for 10 weeks. Vuba for 6. Still no Solomon, still no James, no Schmidt. Favourite teabag, Yorkshire. Whose face are you picturing when type? What? Whose face am I picturing when type? What does that mean? I don't tend to. What? Bamford, yeah, Bamford's fine as far as I can tell. Except no comments on that when I redirect you, please, ladies and gents. The aggressive typing. Oh, I get you. I didn't know I was typing that aggressively this time. What happened to Schmidt? He's got how was it that I said it earlier? His bum all hurts. He's got an issue with his glute. Anyone got the membership package yet? I don't think mine's come yet and or been dispatched. I do. Oh, that's good timing. Membership package. Next time I stream, I'm just going to have this hat on throughout the entire thing. It completely ruins the lighting in the video, but that's completely fine because it's worth it. But anyway, I'm going to bring the stream to an end now. So I hope you enjoyed. If you did, pop a like on it, subscribe, all the fun stuff. You could even become a channel member. It's 99p for a month. It's literally as cheap as I can make it, and you get videos and everything early. So it's a good time. Anyway, hope you enjoyed. Gonna do a redirect over to Keiji's channel now. Let's just all go over and say hello. I'll try and say hello. I don't know if I'll be able to, but yeah.